Welcome to the video for Lecture 22. This video introduces a new process, a bioreactor. This bioreactor is similar to the mixing problem, but now a chemical will be broken down. The reaction rate is temperature dependent. We will also introduce a sample delay. This video will describe the process and the different elements and their transfer functions for a closed-loop process control system for a 2-tank bioreactor with sample delay. This video will describe the transfer functions, block diagram, and the method for finding the Laplace domain equations for the overall transfer function in both the servo and regulator problems. This video builds on many of the process control topics we've covered already. We are adding a few new elements. First, we will have 2 non-interacting tanks in series. Hopefully you remember that non-interacting tanks means that what happens in tank 2 does not affect what happens in tank 1. For this problem, the tanks will be at different temperatures. One new thing is that reactant A will be degraded, broken down in the 2 tanks, and the reaction rates are temperature dependent. So if the tanks are at different temperatures, then the rates of degradation will be different for the 2 tanks. We will model reactant A breakdown as a linear function of concentration. For this process, we will assume that flow control of the reactant is handled using pneumatic controls. This does not really change anything other than the terminology. So instead of an electronic control signal, we will have pressure control signals. Finally, we will add a sample delay component to our process. We need to add a sample delay because the reactant A analyzer we are using needs to be in an environmentally controlled space away from the reactant tanks, and it takes time for the sample from the second tank outlet to reach the reactant A analyzer. This time is handled as a sample delay. Our task is to find the overall transfer function. First we will find the servo problem transfer function, then we will find the regulator problem transfer function with the sample delay term. We are using closed-loop feedback control. We will write the transfer functions and the block diagrams for each element and develop the overall block diagram. This sketch illustrates our 2-tank bioreactor and the closed-loop control system. We have 2 non-interacting tanks labeled Tank 1 and Tank 2. Tank 1 has an inflow with a flow rate of Q in meters cubed per second, which we will assume is constant, and a concentration C0 of reactant A, which can vary. The flow rate Q is constant and the concentration C0 can vary. Tank 1 has a volume of V1, is at temperature T1, has a concentration of reactant A of C1, and a reaction rate of K1. The outflow from Tank 1 goes into Tank 2. Tank 2 has a volume of V2, is at temperature T2, has a concentration of reactant A at C2, and a reaction rate of K2. For now we will assume that the temperatures in the 2 tanks are different, so that T2 does not equal T1, and the reaction rates K2 and K1 are not equal. To simplify the problem, we will assume that the 2 tank volumes are the same, V. We have a sample line and reactant A analyzer that determines the concentration of reactant A in the tank 2 outlet, C2. For the bioreactor to work properly, we need to add reactant A to tank 1 to get the desired concentration of reactant A coming out of tank 2. The amount of reactant A added from tank A is controlled by a pneumatic valve. We are using negative feedback control with a set point concentration CR. Additional details are in the course packet. The first thing that we need to do is write transfer functions for all of the elements and draw block diagrams for each element. Then we want to combine all those element transfer functions and the block diagram elements into the overall block diagram. Here is the expression we will use to describe the breakdown of reactant A. R equals the number of moles of reactant A that are breaking down per unit volume and unit time. K is the reaction rate and C is the concentration of reactant A in the tank. Reaction rates K1 and K2 are temperature dependent. For this analysis, we will assume that tank 2 is warmer than tank 1, so that the reaction rate for tank 2 is higher than the reaction rate for tank 1. Presumably, there is a tank heating system that is keeping the two tanks at their desired temperatures. We could write transfer functions for the temperature control system, but we will do that another time. Here is the time-dependent material balance for reactant A in tank 1. The term on the left side of the equal sign equals the change in reactant A concentration with respect to time. Since we will assume that the tank volume V is constant, we can take it out of the derivative term. The first term on the right side describes the amount of reactant A that is entering tank 1 from the steady flowing input flow Q, but uncontrolled concentration C0. The next term is negative and describes the amount of reactant A leaving through the flow leaving tank 1, Q plus QM. QM is the flow from tank A. In a little bit we are going to assume that QM is much smaller than Q and we will neglect it, but for now we will include QM. The next term is negative and describes the amount of reactant A that is being broken down in tank 1. The final term is the amount of reactant A that is added from tank A. Even though the amount of flow, QM, is small, the amount of reactant A added is very important. Some standard assumptions we will make are that the tank is well mixed, the flow rate Q is constant, and the flow rate QM is much smaller than the tank flow rate Q. With the last assumption, we can neglect the QM times C1 term. Here is the reorganized tank 1 unsteady state reactant A material balance. We bring all the terms with C1 to the left side of the equation, and the other terms stay on the right side of the equation. We will divide both sides of the equation by Q plus K1 times V. Then we will define the time constant for tank 1 as tau 1 equal to V divided by Q plus K1 times V. Here is the time-dependent expression for tank 1 after we divide both sides by Q plus K1 times V so that we can use tau as we defined in the previous slide. The next few steps are to write the steady-state expression, take the difference, and define the deviation variables. Here is our time-dependent expression for reactant A material balance for tank 1 using our deviation variables. Here is the Laplace domain expression describing the unsteady state material balance of reactant A in tank 1. The equation gives us the concentration in tank 1 in terms of the input functions for C0 and QM. There are some complicated constants in the expressions, but we have our regular terms too. The concentration of reactant A in tank 1, C1, our tank 1 time constant tau 1, the inlet flow concentration C0, and the inlet flow rate from tank A, QM. It is a first-order process because we have the terms tau 1 times S plus 1 in the denominator. After some more reorganization, we have our Laplace domain expression and the corresponding block diagram. We have two inputs, C0 and QM. Notice how the term Cm over Q that was in the equation becomes a transfer function of the block diagram to convert the flow QM into a concentration that can be summed with the concentration C0. Now we need to write the time-dependent material balance of reactant A in tank 2. The equation is similar to the equation for tank 1, except that there is no Cm times Qm term because there is no input from tank A into tank 2. The term on the left side of the equal sign describes the change in reactant A concentration with respect to time in tank 2. The first term on the right side describes the amount of reactant A that is entering tank 2 from the steady flow Q and the changing reactant A concentration leaving tank 1. The next term describes the amount of reactant A leaving tank 2 by flow. The final term is the amount of reactant A that is being broken down in tank 2. We will define the tank 2 time constant as the tank volume divided by Q plus the reaction rate K2 times the tank volume V. The process for finding the Laplace domain expression for the concentration of reactant A leaving tank 2 is similar to that which we just went through for tank 1. The Laplace domain expression for tank 2 concentration is given here. The term is similar to the first term in the first tank for tank 1. The subscripts are changed, Also, there is no term for material being added from tank A. Here is the block diagram for the time-dependent material balance of reactant A through tanks 1 and 2. Given the process data listed and the time constants defined earlier, we can calculate the two time constants. Tau 1 is 120 seconds and tau 2 is 60 seconds. The steady-state equations written before now can be used to find the steady-state concentrations in the two tanks. The steady-state concentration in tank 1 is 1.1 kilogram mole per cubic meter. The steady-state concentration in tank 2 is 0.367 kilogram mole per cubic meter. The next thing to find is the transfer function for the control valve. This was covered originally in section 15 of the course packet. For this problem, we need to find the relation between the pressure control signal and the flow rate from tank A. We are given two data points for our linear relation between the control signal pressure and the control valve flow rate. We are told that the flow rate is 0 cubic meters per second at 20 kilopascal and 0.001 cubic meters per second at 100 kilopascal. We write our two equations to find the slope A and the zero offset B. The flow control valve terms are shown here. We are given that the steady-state flow rate through the control valve is 5.88 times 10 to the minus 4 meters cubed per second. Substituting that back into our equation, we find that the steady-state control pressure is 67 kilopascals. Now that we know the relation, we can take the Laplace transform and find the transfer function for the actuator, Qm over the actuator control pressure PA. The transfer function equals 1.25 times 10 to the minus 5. Here is the block diagram for the control valve actuator. The next transfer function to find is the transducer and feedback element for the reagent A analyzer. Again, we are given two data points and assume a linear relation. The relation gives us the measured pressure based on the concentration of reagent A coming out of tank 2. Here is the linear relation and the transfer function for the feedback element and transducer. At the bottom is the block diagram. As we did with the mixing problem in Lecture 20, we want the user to be able to input the set point concentration as a concentration, not the pressure that is used to adjust the control valve. If we do that, we need to convert the set point concentration into a pressure that can be used by the control system. To do that, we add a transfer function that takes the set point concentration CR, turns it into a pneumatic pressure PR. Again, to keep things a bit simpler, we will assume that the relation is the same as that used for the feedback element and transducer. Now we need to find the transfer function for the controller. We will assume that we are using proportional control. The transfer function PA over E equals KP. The controller block diagram is shown at the bottom of the page. We could use PI or PID control by just changing the transfer function. Another new element that we are adding to this process is the sample line delay. In this problem, the reason that we need to add a sample line delay is because the reactant A analyzer that we are using to measure the concentration in the material leaving tank 2 needs to be located in an environmentally controlled room. So there is a small sample line between the tank 2 outlet and the reactant A analyzer. The sample line is 15 meters long and has a cross-sectional area that is 0.0001 square meters. The sample line flow rate is 0.00005 cubic meters per second. We can find the time it takes for the material to go from the outlet to the analyzer by dividing the sample line volume given by the length times the cross-sectional area by the sample flow rate. The delay time is 30 seconds. The way that we will handle sample line delays in the analysis and the block diagram is by using a translation of function term. This was covered in section 5, page 5-3. We will multiply the transfer function by e to the minus td times s. In the block diagram, we will add a transfer function with e to the minus td times s in it as shown in the feedback line. Here is the block diagram with transfer functions we have just covered. Starting in the bottom right corner, we see the process output tank 2 concentration C2. Going clockwise around the loop, to the left is the transfer function for the sample line delay. Next is the block diagram for the feedback element and transducer. The output from the feedback element is the negative input to the comparator in the upper left corner. Further to the left is the set point concentration in terms of kilogram moles per cubic meter. To convert that concentration to a control pressure, we have the transfer function Km. The error calculated by the comparator is the input to the controller, which is using proportional control. The controller output is the input for the actuator, which controls the flow rate of reactant A coming out of tank A. Then we have the transfer function for a units change that changes the actuator output flow rate into a concentration that is summed with the uncontrolled input concentration C0 in the upper right corner of the block diagram. The next transfer functions describe the breakdown of reactant A in tank 1, followed by the breakdown of reactant A in tank 2. Again, as we had with the dye mixing problem in lecture 20, we have a transfer function to the left of the comparator. We want to move the comparator. As we did with the dye problem, we will move the Km transfer function to a position after the comparator by dividing by the inverse of the transfer function before the comparator. The consequences of this is that the transfer functions for the set point input and the sensor and feedback element both become equal to 1 and are removed from the block diagram. This produces a block diagram without a transfer function to the left of the comparator or in the feedback from the sensor. The sample line delay remains in the feedback element. This slide shows how the upper left corner of the block diagram is modified after moving the comparator. Here is the complete block diagram. The next step is to develop the overall transfer function. There are multiple ways to write the overall transfer function that gives C2 as a function of all the transfer functions shown and the input function CR and C0. The method we are going to use this time starts with the equations for C2 and C1 that were developed from the time-dependent mass balances. The top equation is the transfer function for C2. The second equation is the transfer function for C1. By substituting the equation for C1 into the equation for C2, we get the equation shown on the next slide. Here is the equation for C2 with the two input functions C0 and Qm. Now we really want C2 in terms of C0 and CR. So to get rid of Qm, we need to remember the concept of an open loop transfer function covered in section 12 of the course packet, page 12-6 to be specific. We can write that the output function Qm is equal to the input function CR times the transfer functions in between the two, which in this case are Km, Kp, and Kv. So now we can eliminate Qm in the equation above and introduce CR. Here is the resulting equation. This is the overall transfer function for the bioreactor without the sample line delay. Otherwise, all of the other transfer functions are included. This slide shows the block diagram that is produced based on the overall transfer equation from the previous slide. The block diagram still includes the sample line delay. If we put in some of the data for the bioreactor, we can produce this simpler block diagram. There is not a strong reason for not incorporating the values of tau rather than leaving the tau values as variables. The last thing to do is to add the time delay term to our transfer function. To make things easier to see, let's look at the servo and regulator equations separately. To add the time delay, we multiply the transfer function by e to the minus td times s. The term is at the far right. In this case, td is 30 seconds. The term is at the far right. In this case, td is 30 seconds. So the value becomes e to the minus 30 times s. Please note that the s in the expression is a Laplace domain s. It is not s, the abbreviation for seconds, even though the units for the value of 30 is seconds. The second equation is the result when we put in some of the data values. Here is the equation for the regulator problem for the bioreactor. Note that the sample line delay term is included at the far right. In later lectures, I will talk about how we make the calculations to handle the time delay. For right now, this shows what term is used and where it is incorporated into the transfer function. This brings me to the end of the Lecture 22 video. Write down any questions you have and bring them up in class or lab.